I'll do this myself.
All right, welcome. Happy Monday. Glad y'all are here. I wanted to start off, just let you know what's going on this week. We're moving into the laws and ethics dealing with music and video. All right, so we have a guest speaker today. This is Mr. Wright. May have seen him before. And he's dangerous. He's very dangerous. Watch out. He's a black belt. That's awesome.
All right, good morning, guys. Like I said, Mr. Johnson, thank you. I'm Mr. Wright, and I'm a media specialist here, and I'm here to talk to you in about 15-20 minutes about the wonderful world of copyright. Okay? And I know this is really exciting stuff. Listen up, guys. But what I want to tell you guys is one of the things about this school that's really, you guys are really going to learn this, you haven't figured this out already. This school is a very technologically advanced school. One of the things we're going to be doing a lot of in here is a lot of multimedia presentations, of which this class you're taking is the key. If my son was coming here, the first thing I would take was probably take this class, because he's going to learn multimedia presentations, how to use video, and things of that nature that would help him in all of his classes. He's going to be doing it not here, but everywhere. Now, when we do multimedia presentations, unfortunately, there's some rules and expectations we have to follow in order to be in compliance with the law. Okay? And those rules and expectations fall under the umbrella we call copyright. But let me show you this real quick. Have you ever seen this before? Where they play a video or a DVD? At the very beginning, you ever seen this? Okay, real familiar, right? This is the FBI warning. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, all these bad things are going to happen to you. You're infringing. So we have this expectation that when we say copyright, we're thinking, oh no, I'm breaking the what? Law. Okay, now here's the interesting thing about copyright. Today, in court today, we have this punitive, negative impression of copyright. Somebody's going to get me because I'm doing something wrong. That's our impression there. However, historically, that wasn't necessarily the case. The odd thing about copyright was that originally, when our founding fathers found this country and they wrote the Constitution, they put copyright law in the law to protect individuals' creativity. The opposite of our current expectation today. You think, well, that's kind of odd. What's happened since then? Okay? And we'll talk a little about that as I go through, but I want to put that idea in your heads first as I go through this presentation. In the beginning, early in our history, the law was in favor of the individual creator. And over time, it's evolved to kind of a balance between the individual user's rights and the owner's rights. It's kind of a balance. And law's kind of evolved with that. So keep that kind of balance in mind as we go through some of these ideas. So we've definitely seen this before. We have this negative impression. All right, first of all, what is copyright? It provides protection for owners for creative works, granting exclusive rights on how those works may be used by others. Basically, it gives the owner ownership of their ideas. Okay? Now, here's the thing about ideas. This is where it gets a little tricky. Okay? You cannot legally protect an idea, can you? Because it's in your head, right? But as soon as I put that idea into a practical way, a real tangible way, for example, I write a book, I make a video, I make a music production. As soon as I make that thing, whether I go to the copyright office and file it or not, as soon as I make it, it's mine. It's my right. It's my stuff. You, as students, have copyright powers. You know that? When you create a multimedia presentation and it's your own ideas, that's your property. That's your intellectual property. Did you know that? And then you have a right to say, hey, Mr. Wright, I don't want you to use that presentation in your thing today. That's my right not to do that. I don't want you to do that. I'll say, okay, I'm not going to use it. Not only that, you can say, well, I want to insist that I want a waiver that says, hey, I want you to sign off on that, make sure you're not going to do that. I've had students in the past, I came from North Carolina before I came here to Georgia, and I used to teach a media production class with my students, and we used to do really cool videos about book trailers. And my students would make it, and I would ask them if I was going to put it on my webpage. And I would sit down with the kids and say, okay, do you want me to put this on the webpage or not? It is your right, it is your property. can I do that? Do I have your permission? They said, yes, sir, you can do that. Or, no, I don't want them there. I don't want on there for one reason or another. And I will honor that request because it's their property. Make sense? Okay? So it's important to think about it. Not only do Disney and these corporate people have rights, U.S. people have rights too. Okay? All right, so that's what copyright. We're protecting the owner's ideas and rights when it's put into a tangible way. That's the key thing. History of copyright. I've kind of touched this on already, but originally copyright was created to protect the users. Because historically, way back when the printing press was formed in the 1500s with Gutenberg and all that, there were a small number of people that controlled all printing in the whole society. They were called the royal printers. And if you were an author, you came with a great idea, I want to write the next Harry Potter. And you go to the printer and say, I got this, I'm going to write this, here you go. That printer had everything. He made all the money, he just paid you a lump sum, that's it. He made all the money, all the production, all his. He had no rights as the creator of content. Okay? Now, fast forward a few hundred years with the founding of our country, we decided that the founding fathers had the foresight to realize that new ideas were the key to growth of the country. So they began to think of some other ways of doing it. So they took something called the Statutes of Anne, which is an old common law, and built on and placed in our actual Constitution. I'll show you that in just a second. Okay? Now, in our Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, okay, it says this: the Congress shall have power to promote the progress of science and use of arts by securing for a limited time to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective rights and discoveries. So for the first time in history, a country is actually limiting these great corporate or these great printers' rights. And that's important because by limiting that right, that gives other people the opportunity to do something different. Let me put this in perspective, so I'll wake you up for a minute. How many of you have been making something and you saw a cool YouTube clip or a cool commercial music, or you have this really cool song, your favorite song, and you make it like a family video? I think it was when I make my own kids' videos. You have this cool video, you make it on your phone, you make a video, something cool happened, and you go, man, I need that background song. You want to put that in there and make it really cool. Okay? When you do that, you got to think about, it's not just about you, you got to think about the person who originally created that song. Okay? And then you got to say this, you got to then say, well, if I'm putting this thing, am I doing something new or different? If I'm taking something with that song and this video and making something completely new and different, maybe I'm creating my own intellectual property, maybe I'm doing something new and different, therefore maybe that copyright may not necessarily apply because I'm doing something new and different. Okay? It depends on what you're doing with the process. So what we're getting at is by limiting some of those rights, that gives other people the opportunity to create new things. Like I said in the beginning, it's a balance between the owners and the creators. It's a balance. Okay? Our founding fathers were smart enough to create a balance that says that only one or the other. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, this is a review of that. And I want to say this, that our current copyright started off with about 10 years. The copyright was only for 10 years in the 1790s. Today, as last I checked, in the statute of 1975, which established definition copyright, get this, guys. If you write a copyrighted material, it is the life of the author. In the print world, it's the life of the author plus 70 years. That's a long time. Okay? Not only that, but we have people manipulating law, printers and others manipulating law to make it more and more less favorable to the creators and more to the owner's side, by extending this more and more. Okay? Now someday, if you really want to interested, I'll love discussion about ebooks, how that affects ebooks. No time, I'm not going to bring that up here. Okay? But remember, 7 years past the author's lifespan. So J.K. Rowling or Harry Potter, look at that stuff doesn't go into the public domain until 7 years after she dies. And she's pretty young now. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what's something after that 7-year period, something goes into the public domain. Now, this is real important for you guys in this class. This is real important. Okay? We have a lot of these rules and regulations, but what's important is there are places you can go that you don't have to worry about copyright. So you're doing a multimedia presentation for Mr. Johnson, and you want to get that music clip, but you don't have to worry about the copyright issue. I want to get those pictures, I don't worry about the copyright. I want to go someplace where I can get the stuff without having to worry about these legal issues. Where I go is something called the public domain. Okay? The public domain basically is the area or material that's been released because it's lost its copyright. It no longer has it for a lot of reasons. One is either the term of it's expired, or the author has failed to follow the regulations necessary for a company to maintain it, or third place of production of the U.S. government. This is very important. How many of you ever heard this? A lot of legal talk. We've heard this in movies a lot. The Freedom of Information Act. You ever heard that before in some of these legal movies? I want to use the Freedom of Information Act to get this or get that or find out right now. Why the Freedom of Information Act is so important is what it does. It frees up government documents, to copyright those government documents, so you have access to them as an individual citizen. And that's important in a lot of different ways. So when you want to find out things about all kinds of the government, all things about tax information, all kinds of stuff out in the government, there's so much in the government does that it's all for free. And that's really important when you're not only doing videos, when you're doing research. Okay? Really important. Okay? We'll come back to that when we talk about research another time. The government documents is always in the public domain. Okay. All right, moving on. All right. Now, this is the public domain. There's also ways we can use copyrighted material, even though we legally don't have the right to use it. We have a defense, a legal defense to use it. Now, I'm going to explain this again. This is very important. And this is what gets teachers sometimes in trouble with this one. Okay? Is that people misunderstand fair use as a legal right. It's not. Fair use is not a legal right. It is a legal defense. They're two totally different things. Okay? A legal defense is when you are brought in front of court and they charge you something, you defend yourself and more likely to win the case. That does not mean that you won't be accused of it. Okay? Whereas a legal right means you can't be accused of it in the first place. There's a big difference between them. A lot of people think that fair use is a legal right. It's not. It's a defense. Okay? But what it does do, though, is that this fair use does give you the right to use certain material if you follow certain rules. For example, that cool popular song that you like when you put in that video. There are certain guidelines that you can use and use it provided you follow it a certain way. And I'll give you some specifics on that in a second, but that's the basic concept of fair use. There's a lot here. There are 5 major factors, one of which is kind of in the bottom. There's 4 standard ones, and there's a 5th one I'm going to share with you that's really going to affect what you guys do, because that's why it's there. It's young people who do this all the time. But the first one is the purpose and character of the use. In other words, what are you using it for, how are you using it? And most of you think about this, if we're using it for educational purposes, nonprofit, more than likely that's a good legal defense of what we're doing. In simple terms, if I'm doing it for school, probably it's going to be okay. That's one aspect of fair use. Here again, there's some mitigating circumstances, but that's kind of the rule of thumb of using it for school-related stuff. Most people are not going to sue you if you're doing something for school or for research, and you're a student, and you can justify that. Okay? That's kind of in a nutshell what we're talking about right here about the character and purpose of use. All right? Okay, the nature of the work, what's involved in it, how long it is, it's published, unpublished, all those are factors. Third one, the amount of the copyright. You're using the whole thing or just part of it. Okay, you ever get the less you use, the more likely you're following fair use. Okay, those are pretty straightforward. The 4th factor is the effect on the market. In other words, are you taking money out of the pocket of the owners? That's what most people think when they think of fair use. As long as I'm not, making money off of it, it's okay. That's what most people say, right? Heard that before? As long as I'm not making money off of it, I'm okay. Well, not necessarily. There's other factors need to do as well. But if you're a student, you're not doing it for profit, and you're doing only a portion of the work, more than likely you're going to be okay with fair use guidelines, but not necessarily. What's the best way to prevent getting in trouble with copyright? That's a common sense question. Of all of this, what is the best way to prevent getting in trouble with copyright? Is to do what? Get permission from the owner, right? That's common sense. I didn't put it up there, but that's the most simple thing to do. However, what if the owner won't call you back? What if he won't tell you? Then you kind of have to use time limit, then you have to kind of follow these fair use guidelines. Okay, but obviously the common sense tells us the best way is to get permission directly from the owner of content. That's obviously great. Now I have this little piece I'm going to show you some minutes. This Professor Eric Fadden from Buckingham University came up with this about 7 or 8 years ago. And what he did was he took some of the most, he picked on Disney, because Disney has this notorious stereotype, well not really stereotype, but notorious infamy about it, of being the copyright police. They've been really known for suing schools and teachers for violating copyright. And there's been this negative stigma in the education community against Disney, and this professor kind of wanted to get back at Disney a little bit by showing them that you can show Disney films and you follow fair use guidelines, it will be okay. I'm going to give you an example of a little bit of this. I'm going to show you maybe a couple of minutes of this. But it's a cute thing, but it shows you how you can use copyright material effectively to create a new idea, a new entity, a new project, and transform it. Okay? I doubt y'all seen this before, but take a look at this. Everybody loves Disney. Take a look at this. See what you think of this. This is going to talk about fair use real quick. It's only one chapter of this. Just take a few minutes to think of now, but notice the technique. You guys in video production class.
Use.
That's right, you might want to find it again.
What the heck is that? Use.
This might sound crazy, but they're limitations on copyright.
Use it possible. Yes.
Copyright may be broken, but it's you can
Borrow.
copyright work too.
And I'll let you teach that guy a lesson.
Let me believe there has been a child security breach.
It is my professional opinion that now is the time.
But how do I know?
Yes.
It's fair.
Use. There are
Certain rules.
but demonstrate. Use.
Okay, first of all, it's
The nature.
Oh,
The work.
borrowed.
second of all,
It's the
amount.
you.
Borrowed.
Oh, and there is one more thing.
It has to be something that
Doesn't change.
The original.
works.
In the marketplace.
Pay attention, everyone.
This is important.
It's like I always say.
There. Use.
Is right. But what is it?
There. Use.
Is
Only
Legal defensible position.
and this is
Not fair.
It goes on different aspects of it. But notice, guys, I mean, this is a video production class. Y'all notice the technique? Let's talk about the technique for a minute. What's going on here? What's going on with this technique? First of all, we're taking all these cool different characters everybody can identify with, right? So you got the immediate impact of your audience of different ages, right? So that's a cool technique. Also notice it's also what? Very what? It's very choppy. There's some specific words. Okay? Part of that's done to get the message that the person is trying to create across, but it's also done, believe it or not, to follow the guidelines of copyright, because only certain sections can be used, or certain time limits can be used. For video production, usually it's about between 30 minutes or 3 minutes can possibly use. So it's following on that guideline as well. Now, looking at this, is this the same video or is this something new? Is this something new or is it the same video? Something new, yeah, I would make the argument. So if I was the copyright judge and I was looking at this and I'd say, this is new, this is not the same thing. You're taking somebody's ideas, you're transforming it into something new. I'm not so sure that's a copyright violation. You created something new here. Okay? That's called transformativeness, which is the fifth aspect of fair use. Okay? This is a great example of that, how it works. Okay? Transformative or transformativeness, it's kind of a new word, it's an evolving word. That's why it's not in our spelling lexicon. It's an evolving word. But what it's talking about is it's a current new thing where people are creating. I'll give you a good example of this. My son loves these things. How many of y'all are into like Lego movie stuff? My son loves Lego movies. Okay, the Star Wars Lego movies, he loves it. What goes live, and you go on YouTube, you type in Lego movie stuff, and all these little parodies and clips of all different things. You have all what these people do, take a video, a Lego set, and they make their own storyline with it, and they go with it. Okay, they're creating a transformative process. They're taking something that's there, and they're making something new with it. They're making a new movie, new content with it. Okay, in the music industry, for example, transformative is a big deal in the music industry. How many times have you seen a music that was produced, made in 1960, and somebody built a redo? All right, you know what I'm talking about? Redo music, or they put a hip hop version, or whatever the version they do. How can you legally do that? They're transforming something new by changing the lyrics, by changing the beat, by changing the style of music. Right? They're doing something new. Okay, so that's how they legally can protect that. Okay. So it's a gray area. What's considered transformativeness and what is not is a very gray area. The law is still evolving on that. And it's really gray. There's not a set way, is it this or that? It's an evolving process. But keep in mind, if you don't want to get involved with that, there's ways of following the rules, getting your permission from people, and you don't have to worry about that. But I'm just saying though, if you create something new, there is defense for that. It's a new factor of fair use. Okay? Okay, I'm going to play this for you. This kind of gives you an overview about the transformative idea and how it's evolved. But it's kind of a cool thing too. I want you to check this out. It's kind of neat. Especially those who do this class.